So for database approach, you need Visual Studio. I'm using Visual Studio 2022. Just starting off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Create New Project, because you have to create a project for it, and the project is database project. So let me just search for database. So you can see it's SQL Server database project, right? So you click on this, click Next. You can click on where you want it to go to. So if I come back out here, come to school, select that folder, and I could just call it first database projects, right? Then I just click on create. So it's create a blank database project for me. All right, so now we have the project open. Like every other project, it's just like a normal project, right? The only thing is you're not working with C#, you're working with a different sort of stuff, right? Just what I'm doing is I'll just create a folder. And I'm gonna call it DBO. It means database objects. Then so the first thing I want to do is like in the other case where I was doing like a code first approach, I created a class, right? That class would now be translated to what's it called? To a table, more or less, right? But now we want to go from a table to a class, right? So what I want to do is I want to add like a table. Yeah, so this should work. Let me see. Yeah, so that should work. Let me just, I'm gonna call it user. I'm just going to add it. Let's see. Yeah, so exactly what I need, right? So as you can see, it already knows that, okay, since it's a table, you would need an ID, which is like the primary key. The table name is user. And then it's saying that the ID is an integer, right? But I could decide to change that to something else if I want. I saw a question where someone says, what will determine the type of ID you're using, if it's integer, if it's string, if it's GUID, if it's long, you get. So basically what determines it most of the time is you as the owner of the code, right? So if you feel like, oh, what I'm doing, I probably don't need much records in the database, then integer is fine, right? Then if you're probably needing a lot of records, then you probably need a long. Then if you want to probably be more secure, so that someone else cannot just guess the ID, then you want to use a GUID. Because integer, I could just guess the ID. I could just say, okay, 5, 10, 20, right? But if you want a collection where someone cannot just guess the ID, then you probably want to use a GUID or a string, and then you generate the ID yourself, random numbers or random characters or stuff like that. Yeah, so sorry about that. I was trying to reply someone. So those ID, you probably generate them and make them unique in a different way, however you wish to generate them, right? So it depends on you, on what you want to do, but I'm going to allow for integer for this. Then allow null means you want to allow null, but since it's a primary key, you can see this error, right? Primary keys are not supposed to allow null. So then I could just add another data to here. I'll say name, and name, I want it to be a nav char. Let me go for nav char. Yeah. This is string, but then the 50 means, okay, I want this string to only accept 50 characters. Then max means can accept as much as possible, right? Well, since it's a name, I could just say 50 characters, and then I don't want to allow null. I can say nickname, and the same thing, navchar 50, but can allow null. So that means this person can allow null. You remember when you're talking about required and all of that, right? So allowed null for this, but I'm not allowing null for this. Then I could say date of birth, and for this I could just look for date time, right? Let me see. Let me use this, but I don't want to allow null. So let me just add one more character or one more property to this thing. Let me just call it details. For this, I'm going to allow max and not null. So right now I have this database stuff, right, that I've just created. Right now it's not in my database because if I open up my SQL Server Management Studio, it's not there. So if I want to now make it go there, what I would do is I would right click on the solution and no, not the solution, the database project itself, right? And I would click on schema compare. So right here, what it's doing is it's going to compare this project with my database and find out which one is ahead or which one is behind. So if this project is ahead, then it's going to try update the database with the stuff that is ahead with. But right now, because I don't have the project in my database, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my database and log in and create a database folder, right? So these are just tables, right? It's not going to create a database for us, unlike the what's it called? Code first approach, right? This wouldn't create a database for us. So we have to create the database first of all manually. So I'm going to connect. What I'll do is I'll click on databases. Let's click on here, click on new database. I'm going to call it okay, you know what? Let me not even do that. Let me look at WallerSchoolDB. We already have a database here. Okay, so there's user. You know what? Let me actually do it so that at least you see the process. I'm creating a database. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, I'm just going to call it test database, right? Test database is fine. Every other thing I'm going to leave as is, and I'm going to click on OK. So it's going to create test database for us. If I click on it, there will be no tables underneath it. Right? As you can see, no tables. So what I want to do now is try to compare this with that database. So I'm going to do select targets. Click on database, select connection. And so I have my connection here, Windows authentication. This is my username and everything. Then server name. Server name would be this guy. And then database name would be that tests DB, right? So as you can see, it has already logged into my stuff and it's looking at all the database, right? So I have to look for test DB, yeah, test database, that's it there. So I'll click on connect for it to connect to that database and click on OK, right? So right now, I want to compare this project that I created here and this database. I'll click on compare. So it's doing the comparison. It's doing the comparison. and it's going to take a minute or so, right? So it's done. So what you're saying now is saying that this table dbo.user is not existing and it wants to add it. That's what this plus sign is about. It wants to add it, right? And then if you agree with this, all you need to do is just update. And then it's doing that right here. It's done. So if I go back to the database and click on reload, our database has been created. So right now we've successfully created our database project, created a table on it, and then we've updated our database with it. But then we need it in our code, right? We need it in our code, not just in the database project and on the database. So to get it in our code, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open our existing project. Let me use this Waller else MVC6. And I'm going to open it with Visual Studio also. We can actually do this part with Visual Studio Code, but I find it pretty easier to do it on Visual Studio. Okay, it's opened already. So right now, the only thing we have here is LV model. We don't have a database context. We don't have anything on this project. So what I'm going to do is I'll click on Tools, come to NuGet Package Manager and click on NuGet Package Manager Console. It's going to open something that looks like a command line. However, it's not the command line. It's just like it's called Package Manager Console anyways. Used to install NuGet packages easily on Visual Studio Code. So right here, what I want to do is I want to scaffold the DB into my project. It's called database scaffolding, right? Yeah, I think so. And I have the code for doing that here because I don't want to be writing it from my head all the time, right? So, but because I just remembered something, I think I need to install some projects first. Entity framework, core, tools, and the rest of them. So I need to install them. What's happening? Oh, I think I didn't. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. This stuff does not have a solution.
Okay.
Doesn't have a solution, so I can't work with it. But I can actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a solution for it. So if you have a project that doesn't have a solution and you want to create a solution for it, all you need to do is just add create it .NET new SLN. It's going to add a solution to the project. So see the solution here, Waller MVC6.solution. But then right now you're not done. You need to add the project to that solution. So wow. Let me see. I think I can remember the command for that or the syntax for that. Let me add project, I think. Then look for the project. Sorry, I think I've forgotten that command. Let me try and look for it. Okay. Oh, we have 10 more minutes. Okay, the next solution add, I think. No. Yeah, the next solution add, I think. Let me see. I don't find it. Project. I supposed to be, you know, add project. Not find it project or directory project. I think I didn't add the solution in the right folder or something. I'm coming. Okay. Yeah, I need to look for the solution itself first. Okay. The next solution, add projects. Are you kidding me? The next solution, that's the solution, add projects. Solution file, add. The next solution, add. Okay, let me just look for it. Ah, finally. Okay, moving on. So we have the solution now. I can open the solution. All right, so I successfully opened the solution. Now, all I need to do is get those NuGet packages. Oh, my system is freezing. Okay, let's get those NuGet packages. So I'm going to just use the easy way out. Right click on here and manage NuGet packages. Okay, browse and look for entity framework. Core, just add core so I know what I'm looking for. All right, so I need this guy. I'll install this. So it's installing, accept. Then I need design, install. Accept. I need tools, install. Accept. And finally, SQL Server. I wouldn't go as far as actually testing it out. That would be your assignment, right? But I'll just go as far as making sure that the stuff is reflecting. All right, so let me see. Let me see. So we have everything here. All right, so now I can use the NuGet Package Manager console and then make sure that my project is what I'm on, and I can now look for this guy. So,
Sir.
yes, please.
Okay. So I wanted to ask, so does the Visual Studio, does it come with .NET like by default, or is it the SDK like those of us that have .NET 5? Is
You have to
this
install
does
it.
the so you still have to need use irrespective of the SDK, see the SDK on your laptop that you still use this, right?
No.
So once you install the Visual Studio, it comes with .NET already.
It doesn't come with .NET, and
Okay.
doesn't use it on your system. You have to install it.
Okay. Okay, I was asking because of this entity framework dependency, so that I'll know if I'm still going to have to install the ones for .NET 5. Thank you, sir.
So yeah, so the command is scaffolds-db contest, then your connection string, which is this server, this database name. So our database is test database. Then trusted connection and all of this. Then you also specify that it's SQL Server. That's why we installed that. And then you specify the output directory where you want it to send it to. So for me, I'm just going to call it data. I want it to go to data. If I press enter, it's going to run through the process, create a folder called data, and then inside of it, create everything that we need, including our domain class. Let's give it a second or so to go through this. Still working its magic. All right, so it's done everything that we wanted to do. And you can see it's created a data folder. Inside the data folder, it created our domain class, which is this. See the ID, see the name. Nickname is not labeled. That's why there's a question mark here. Date of birth, and then the details and everything, right? Then in the test database contest, see that we have database contest already created. We have a constructor that goes to send stuff back to the options. Everything was written for us, DB sets, and was also written. Then we have some other stuff that was written for us on configuring. So it configures this. This is supposed to be in our program.cs. So you are supposed to actually move this part to the program.cs, but you can also decide to leave it here, but it's advised that you move it to your program.cs. So this is where it configures our connection string, as you can see, right? So you put it to your program.cs and your app settings. Then you see some of the other stuff on model creating. So when it's saying that when it was creating the model, the table is user and entity or property ID is generated. This one has a max length of 50. This one has a max length of 50. And all of these other stuff were all created for us. And then all we need to do is just use this DB sets here to access the database. No need of, what's that stuff called now? Oh, less than 1 minute. No need of migration folder and all of that. All right, so once it ends, I'm going to start it all over again. All you need to do is just join back.